I was wondering, if you keep on, because the force has got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like it makes me feel like all right. Welcome, 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 family. We're here tonight to incite and lift up our people, because we are definitely more than a conqueror. We are way more than a conqueror. So let's get into it.
Well, thanks for having me. I know it's going to be another enlightening live stream tonight.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see where you're going with this one.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I want to pretty much tonight just uplift our people and always ensure that our eyes are wide shut. Even though our eyes are closed to certain things, it's still spiritually, there's awareness, there's awakening. So that is important, that is critical, that we, even though there's certain things that we may think that we can obtain, but even though we're at a level where we think we haven't obtained it, we've already obtained it. It's already within us, the information. So when I say we're more than a conqueror, you see, there are people on the planet that are conquerors, but we are more than that. We're not just, we have the capability to conquer all things, but not at a level that the other people on this planet have done. We do it on a much higher level of conquering. We conquer spiritual things unseen. And through that, those who are the physical conquerors, who just focus on that, and they make everything else they throw away be a stumbling block for us. So I noticed, I was watching one video. I'm going to see if I can find it. Let me see, what did I do? Okay, hold on. Let's go over here.
Force this one.
I don't think I'm going to find that video.
routine.
But anyways, I saw a video, and there was a Caucasian lady from Australia, and she was married to a Ghanaian, and she was talking about how what I was speaking on the other day about how the French and the Chinese are going over. They wanted to go over into Africa and start testing and start giving shots, giving they're talking about testing medications, vaccines. I mean, and she was speaking on it, but she was speaking on it from a white savior complex. And it was very evident that she had this white savior complex. But one thing I wanted to put out was that they call themselves Africa's heroes, but they can't save themselves, you know. And
Right.
she had mentioned that she was disappointed. Her most point that she was trying to make, that she was really, I think what brought her to want to make a video about it anyways, was she's trying to secure her white privilege place, you know, being married to a Black man from Africa. She wanted to secure her white privilege place in that. And because she had mentioned about how China was going over there and doing this and doing that, and that Africa shouldn't trust them as much as they have. And now that, and then she said, well, when we come up with a medication, with a vaccine, they are not going to know who to trust. They're not even going to trust us, because in the past, she admitted that in the past they did bring over HIV to the Africans. That was her people, and gave it to the people, and a lot of other things. And of course, in the past, we've heard a lot of white men admit to this, and it's been admitted on tape, on video. I saw a video of it where they interviewed a gentleman, and he was responsible partly for that whole going over to Africa and shooting up the prostitutes with HIV. And but she was talking about that, and she was like so upset, you know, and her husband told her, of course, to go and make the video since it was bothering her so much, and she did so, and that's what we got, was the video of her speaking out. But also in that video, it was evident of her complex, her the God complex that Caucasians, the savior complex that most Caucasians have when it comes to our people, because they constantly look down upon us. They don't think that we have the capability, even though we have more. They would never. She mentioned that they would find a cure, and when have you known a Caucasian to ever have a cure for anything? And as much as been given to them on this planet, that as much as been afforded them on this planet, and as much as they've taken away from others, they still have never on this planet ever had any cure for anything. Hey, Life of King Wage, welcome. And so when we see these kind of people speaking out, we got to always question their motives, because definitely she had a savior complex, because she mentioned that you know, when they do come up with a cure, even though she's married to a Ghanaian, she still does not get, even though she's really close and married to a Black man, she still does not get or see that we as Black people are just as much as capable of coming up with our own cures and our own. Matter of fact, we already got cures. We've already got them in the bag. So for anybody to think that they have to come and give money to Africa or worry about our communities, or when our only weakness is that we're not taking care of ourselves, we're looking outside all the time to take care of others. And like when they were talking today about how Black businesses that are have supplies of masks and stuff, and the government is not trying to buy from us, you know. So what I got to say to that is that's why we just need to take care of ourselves. We need to focus on ourselves and to stop having our attention on the things that are outside of us, that it is not doing us any bit of good. And that's the way I see things as far as that's concerned. But, you know, of course, that will continue. And welcome, Monica More Justice. Hey, how are you doing, girl? And like I said, if we don't, you know, it's all about what we're gonna do. It's all about our moves. You know, right now everything is up for grabs for, as far as the things that we need as a people, as a group, as a whole. Are we going to, I'm doing great, girl. Are we going to continue down this road where we're focused on them and catering to them? Or are we going to veer off from that road and go to this new, this little dirt road that we see, this dirt trail that we see that's, you know, this new dirt trail? Are we going to go down there and create something, a whole new, um, a whole new world for ourselves where we're less focused on things that don't ever benefit us? Are we going to now focus on ourselves and put that energy towards the building of ourselves, you know? Hey, shalom, life of Wade, King Wade, shalom, brother. And you know, that's very critical. Are we going to continue down the same road, or are we going to move and veer off from there? You see, the way I see it is everything is done for a purpose. When I'm going to get into talking about alchemy. Let me see something here. Okay. Let me see something. It's not letting me go back. Okay.
So Lightbearer, what is an alchemist to you?
An alchemist is one who mixes. To me, it's alchemy. It's chemicals. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a mixture of a person who knows how to mix up the right potion. You know what I'm saying? That's
Okay.
what I think of when I think of alchemist.
So you don't think it's do you believe it has anything to do with like precious metals, turning base metals into gold?
Oh yeah, because we are made up those precious metals, and within our bodies, we got copper, we got all this, and I take copper, but that's what I mean by that's what I think. We are on the chart. We are on that the chemical what they call it that I showed the other day. But I think I'll share this. Okay, let me go on and do this video here. Hold on. I thought this was interesting, so I'm gonna share it.
You'd be
Sounds good.
thinking that this
But what
creature
happened?
was something out of a sci-fi movie.
Did it?
But it
Okay, something happened. Hold on. I'm gonna see if it's gonna let me do the video. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me fix it. Okay, y'all see that screen? And here we go. That's the Moors. I was going to talk about that, but I'm going to talk about this here. Let me move this in. Can y'all see that? Or do I have to move it up?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay.
This is the Chevy
Oops.
Trax, the Chevy Equinox,
Oh,
the
gave me a
all-new
crash.
Chevy Blazer,
I'm sorry.
and
A
the
little X button, a little X up at the top.
for an SUV.
The Philosopher's Stone. Have you heard of that before? Okay. Did y'all catch that?
This is the Chevy Trax, the Chevy Equinox.
Okay. Alchemy Dictionary. Let me see what they got for that one. Okay. So ablution, the process of washing a solid with a liquid, usually in water, spiritually and psychologically, it is facing one's emotions and letting feelings flow so that innocence and purity can be restored. Ion, they say C or Boras. Air. Air is one of the 4 elements of alchemy. Air in the alchemical sense carries the archetype properties of spirit into the manifested world. It is associated with the operation of separation and represented by the metal iron. Alchemy. The word is derived from Arabian phrase, but no family. There was never no such thing as the Arabic language. So pretty much this would be a derivative from one of the African dialects, from one of the African languages, because it was, even when they talk about Spain, it was all Africa, all the way from, we might as well sum it up and say the whole planet was Africa. But for some reason, the Caucasian have built this construct in our minds that everything was divided. And Africa is still to this day, Asia is part of Africa. But and then Europe is a part of Africa. In all reality, it's all one big continent. And also, so is Saudi Arabia, all those other areas down there in the middle, what they call Middle East today, is still Africa. So, when they say these, what something derives from, the phrase alchemia, which refers to the preparation of the stone or elixir by the Egyptians. The Egyptians, they won't call the ancient people Egyptian, but they didn't call themselves Egyptians. They weren't Egyptian. We weren't Egyptians. But we do know that the people that took over, when they took over our places, they renamed them in the language that they knew at the time. The Arabic root Kemiya comes from the Coptic Kem that alluded to the fertile black soil of the Nile Delta. Esoterically and hieroglyphically, the word refers to the dark mystery of the primordial or first matter, the Kam, the one thing through which all creations manifest. Alchemy, then, is the great work of nature that perfects this chaotic matter, whether it be expressed as the metals, the cosmos, or the substance of the soul of our souls. Did y'all get that? Let me turn that off. The limbic, the upper part of a still head. The term is often used to refer to a complete still, a curberute or distillation. Alchist. An alchist is the power from above that makes possible alchemical transformation. The word is usually translated as universal solvent, which alludes to the ability of the alchemist to dissolve or reduce all physical matter to its basic essence. With metals, this meant transmuting them to their purest form, which was gold. In the human body, this meant the creation or revealing of a golden body of consciousness, the astral body. And that's what I was speaking on. So basically, let me go back to my notes. And then I'll look up the Philosopher's Stone for you guys here. I might keep that. Philosopher's philosopher's stone. Philosopher's stone. Okay, I want the image. That's what I want. Okay, that's what I want. Oh, yes, that's beautiful. I'll use this one. Can y'all see that? Can you see
Yeah,
that?
perfectly. Yeah,
Okay,
perfectly.
let me go back. This is the Philosopher's Stone. Ain't that beautiful?
It's like a giant ruby.
It's just gorgeous.
Almost.
That's that color red that it just does something to me when I see it. It just, oh, that's just, it's beautiful. Okay, let's get back to my points. Okay, so when I say everything done is for a purpose, alchemy is what gets things started, life. So what I'm saying is it shows in itself just how powerful we really are as people. So let me just go with this because this, okay, being an alchemist, the word is usually translated as universal solvent, which alludes to the ability of the alchemist to dissolve or reduce all physical matter to its basic essence with metals. This meant transmuting them to their purest form, which was gold, in the human body. This meant the creation or revealing of a golden body of consciousness, the astral body. So for us, we're in a state where we don't realize that we are more than that conqueror. We are the conqueror and more. We have so much more about us that has been hidden from us. The whole um, the whole it's within us. Like I said, the knowledge is always with us. We just are not. We've been distracted. We've been distracted from looking within ourselves or from examining ourselves or learning these things that are too much evident about ourselves. It's there, but because the things outside of us got our focus so much more that we are overlooking that in ourselves. We've been forced or trained to look elsewhere spiritually as well through religion. So, you know, an angel in alchemical treatises symbolizes sublimation or the ascension of the volatile principle. The Ankh is a hieroglyphic character used by Egyptian alchemists to denote the ascendancy of the life force or spirit. The circle over the material would world the cross. In other words, through Through crucifixion, the soul rises and is reborn on a higher level. It dates back over 3,000 years and is symbolic. Rendition of the principles expressed in the Emerald Tablet and its design, the circular one, mind project downward into the one thing, while the lateral manifested world on which we are crucified is indicated by the horizontal bar. Okay, now they're talking about how they use the animals when we see them with the animal heads on the walls of the pyramids. Animals are often used to symbolize the basic components and processes of alchemy. Okay. They may be used to symbolize the four elements, such as the lion or ox, earth. They symbolize earth. Fish or whales, water. Eagles, the air. Okay. Or salamanders or dragon will symbolize the fire. Aerial animals generally indicate volatile principles, while terrestrial animals indicate fixed principles. Okay. Whenever two animals are found, they signify sulfur and mercury, or some relationship between the fixed and the volatile. Antimony. The metal antimony symbolizes the animal nature or wild spirit of man and nature, and it was often symbolized by the wolf. Alchemist Basil Valentine named the metal after feeding it to some monks in a Benedictine monastery. The monks got violently ill, and some even died, hence the Latin name that means anti-monk. Spiritually, two monks feel most threatened by their own animal nature. Oddly enough, the tincture of antimony cures venereal diseases. And then, of course, brimstone in the scriptures are just what I thought it was. It's sulfur. Because when sulfur burns really fast, so that's what when the scripture is talking about the fire and brimstone, is talking about sulfur, because sulfur burns really, really fast. And it's talking about flesh, basically. Because the flesh is consistent of the sulfur. We have I don't know. I don't want to say we have that, because when I look at the breakdown of uromelanin, we don't have that. But we just might have very little of it, because when we look at our palms of our hands, that's when we see that fleshy color. In the bottoms of our feet, we have that fleshy color. Okay. So let me see if this is going to do me any good here.
What are some of the alchemical elements?
Huh? What'd you say?
What are some of the what are some of the alchemical elements?
Chemical elements. Okay. Hold on, let me go over here. What I was reading, I think it was saying that the air. Okay, what are the 4 ancient elements?
Because there's 14 of them.
There's 14?
16, excuse me.
Oh, you got them?
Yeah,
Do you want to share it?
sure.
Do you see it on here with me?
I don't see it. I don't see it on there.
I see something, but let me click on this and see if this will come up bigger. Oh, okay. Is this it?
Click on it.
It's saying you can't see it. It's saying hydrogen.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well, no, that's not it. I'm talking about the chemical elements.
Yeah, that's what it's talking about, the elements.
Here, let me share my screen.
Okay. Let me.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay. Do I have to take mine off?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You should see at the bottom of the screen there. You see it? Yeah.
I got it. Okay. All right. It says. Yeah, it was about the same, I thought.
That's pretty much what you read. Yeah. I was just showing the different elements.
Okay.
You know, arsenic and.
Yeah, go ahead and say them. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I need to.
Antimony, arsenic, bismuth, copper, gold, iron, lead, magnesium, mercury, phosphorus, platinum, potassium, silver, sulfur, tin, and zinc.
Okay. Now, this is my this is how I see that gold is created on the planet. Because gold is created gold comes from mines in Africa. And we know that Africa is closest to the equator, is closer to the sun. So the sun is what creates that what we call gold. It comes from the sun directly, just like we do. And it's no wonder that we consist of most of that elements he was talking about. The gold, we have.
You see that?
We have crystals, I think, or diamonds in us. We got yeah, I see it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, sun, it takes part of the sun and a whole lot of other things going on that create this gold on the planet. And that's the same way with us, how we're created. It's a whole but it's a backwards thing for us. We're coming from the spiritual and coming into the physical. You see, I mean, it's the same for the gold. It's coming from the spiritual and coming and developing on the earth and the physical. So the things that we see going on have to take place because it's coming from the spirit world, and um, that's why I was saying everything done is for a purpose. Don't think that things are done without uh, it's already been planned. The little plans they do on this planet, the physical beings, is the outcome of the spiritual plans to move things forward. I wish I was had the capability of breaking down the chemicals of that, of the whole thing. All I know, all I know, and all that we know, and it's what we can see, and what we see is on this planet. We see all other races uh, having power and control, or trying to gain power and control, but they do to some extent have the ability to keep us under their feet. So what our thing is, we need to be moved. We should be moving from that. We're it's a mental thing for us. It's all in our minds. It's not our reality. The condition that we are in as a people is not our reality. Like I was saying, everything is done for a purpose. We fell in asleep because our planet Earth started moving far from um, our we moved far away from what we needed to keep us in the state that we were in, the high state we were in at the time, and we moved. And as we moved far from there, it we lost consciousness and we lost that connection, and we fell into a unconscious state where we're not aware of anything. And so now we're coming back into our consciousness, and we're coming back to that connection, that the things that we are seeing need to be done in order for this change to come about, for us to rise back up again into our consciousness, our state, our original state. So that's the alchemy. That's the alchemy in everything that's going on the planet right now that we see. Um, and controversy is an engine. No good comes without the bad, and vice versa. The bad must be added to the recipe. To move things forward on earth, something was very much needed. You know, we needed so basically because we have the having that understanding that good and bad goes together. You can't have one without the other. But being that we fell in a weak state, we've had this advantage taken over. We had this advantage put over us, and that's when the principles come in, and the understanding that the people that have been in charge for the last 400 years don't really have the ability. Like I said, they don't have the ability to come up with cures. They don't have the ability for, to do these things because it's not within them. It's not the way their minds cannot uh, do that, are not capable of that. So they're not capable of achieving the things that we must achieve. So we have the principles built within us naturally. That's why you can see that we are a righteous people by nature. But our nature has been changed in many instances due to environmental influences. And I'm going to talk about mod next Friday. Next Friday we get into mod. I don't want to get into it today. Okay. And this is where we are at the divine purpose. It's wake up call time. The esteemed ones in high regards need to take their place on the throne of the world. We already won. Hell, we created this. We created this whole thing, but we don't remember. You see, that's when I was saying that a lot of our education, the education is not. If you have to spend money on it, you know that it's not educate. It's not true education. It's not true education, because true education is a natural life living uh, thing. It's not something that you can uh, that is up for sell. You just don't. We're living in a very low place where people have to sell their knowledge to us to survive. And it's not meant to be like that. Is what I was trying to say. It's not meant for it to be like that. That kind of knowledge may not be worth it. It's not beneficial. But the knowledge that's beneficial is the one that consists of the principles and the ability for us to stretch our minds and develop and grow from, where you're just sitting in a school classroom with books is not stretching the mind, allowing the mind to go beyond, um, above and beyond um, this level. It's keeping us stagnated in a place, and in many instances, and keeping us. I'm trying to look at the chat. He said, the life of King Wage said, we need to find our powers and utilize it. Yeah. Well, we have our powers. We just have to, there's certain things certain knowledge that we haven't been afforded. We haven't been given. We've been given all kinds of other crap, but what's important to us, what's important for us, you know. Um,
So light bearer, alchemy was came before chemistry.
yeah,
So I know you're saying that we lost our knowledge of it. So do you think we lost our knowledge once we shared it and they turned it from alchemy into chemistry?
no, no, because it's all still the same. What I'm saying is, it's the way they teach it. It's the way that we've been given all our stuff.
Right, because they changed it from the well, at
Where
least
it would
the
be
name of it from alchemy to chemistry.
where it would be more connection. We had more of a connection to our knowledge than what we're learning now, and it's like a so distant from us.
So why
Um,
do you think they changed the name of it?
why do I think they changed the name?
Yeah, because it's more commonly known today as chemistry and not alchemy.
Hmm.
So they must have changed the name to try to make us forget what alchemy is. And
No, not really to make us forget, because it's their interpretation. And remember the English language, even though we had a form of the English language, which is, but this language that we speaking now is coded, and it doesn't, it, you know, it's been taken from the original language that we had for trade. And just like the science, it's been manipulated in a way so that uh we don't see its original state ever. See,
but see, you do that too by changing the name as well.
mhm,
You see what I'm saying?
but it didn't
If,
work for
if
changing it from alchemy, because we know that chemet is short for chemistry. It's also chemistry. It's what they got chemistry from chemists. You see what I'm saying? And
and
alchemy, chemists, like you said. But yeah, it's a way of hiding our truth, basically. You know,
right,
it's the way
right.
of hiding our truth, and that's what happens. But what I'm trying to get us to see is that we can be above all of this, everything. We can fly above it. And like I was saying about the government not wanting to buy from black business, we can't force these people's hands, but what we can do is focus on ourselves and uplift ourselves, and build. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing we can do. We got the resources. If we got those things, then we can buy from ourselves. You know,
Yep.
um, you know, we got companies. We got black-owned companies that we need to utilize more, and we need to get our minds out of thinking that we need stuff from them. You know, and let me see if I can come on camera, because I wanted to share. I was going to read some stuff from these two books here. Let me.
You can take that down now if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to take it down. Hey, fam. Let me see. Okay. Well, you're there and I'm there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay. Here's the. Can y'all see that? I wonder if they can see that in the. Can you see it? I guess they
Yeah, we
can
see
see
it.
it.
We
Can
see it.
they can see the whole thing?
Drop down the life of that comment that
Oh,
life
okay.
of
Yeah,
being.
because I think that's kind of in the way. I was looking at that. Oh, they'll just click on it. Okay.
There
That's
you go.
good.
Yep,
Okay.
we see it.
This is the book Melanin, A Key to Freedom. Okay. So I was looking over it, and this particular thing caught my mind. It was saying the study of melanin in the human form and throughout nature is a precious key that will unlock the chains of mental slavery that presently imprison the minds of African people of all skin colors without the world throughout the world. Despite the current small dance to the tunes of intentional use of miseducation, massive destruction of ancient African university libraries, scientific multimedia, brainwashing, propaganda, unconscious distortion of inner vision, Black symbolism, and beastly nutritional practices that produce chronic states of illness with fragmented and poorly developed inner visualization. Nature's own records of Black melanin remain quite intact and in step to a vast and far greater cosmic tune. Africans survived the horrors of hell itself, be it the countless bloody scars of physical slavery or piercing screams of the soul of the mental slave, primarily because of their deeply rooted sense of spirituality. This was with experiences of the spirit, far beyond the politics of religion. African spirituality, far from being a spacey, flighty, or vague phrase, is a pal, palpable, palpable, vibrant life force that is real and can be measured by many physical scientific standards. Melanin itself, on a philosophical plane, is a Black chemical / biological door through which the life force of African spirituality passes in moving from the spirit realm into the material realm. The physical identification of the melanin Black chemical biological door in humans is presently the subject of intense study by many laboratories throughout the world, utilizing a wide array of advanced tools of science. Yet, this is old news, a rediscovery of an old African science practiced by Africans who were free to use their will to do the work, to shape their world into actual forms seen in their dreams. The dreams of inner vision were known by these angelic African ancestors to be the inner vision images of heaven as seen by their own souls. For these great and golden dreams of the African were known by them to serve as a great compass and a great tuning fork of African spirituality. A measure, Black Nilomatic cubic yardstick of being at rhythm with the nature in tune with heaven itself. Melanin can be measured. African spirituality can be measured. African spiritual life is known by Africans to be a dance to music. Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Can you let go of it? Will it let go of you? Okay. And then again, this has a lot of this has definitions as well in it. Okay. Mhm. Let me see what they're saying because there's a lot of. Alchemia, the black god, the Arabic name for the chemical process of chemistry. Alchemy, the psycho-spiritual chemical process of melanin, meditated, mediated, soul/spirit accession, projection, or salvation. Excuse me, family. Okay, it says melanin in the kinetic study of the electromagnetism, electron, the hint, and amber, and crystal. A study of ancient African history reveals that African definitions of the human melanin system as a holy black body, HBB, holy black body, that serves as the eye of the soul to produce inner vision. The purpose of ancient African education was to provide the knowledge, energy receptors, and development of the will energy donors of the student that allowed salvation, freedom, mortality, harmonic resonance of the holy whole energy electron flow, black dot, micro black hole from the fetters. Change harmonic non-resonance of the holy whole physical body. And in an electromagnetic theory of life, medical hypothesis, the structure of life are clearly electromagnetic with currents and non-resistive semiconductor, superconductor circuits become toroidal and solenoidal. Magnetic fields, and with fields become attractive and repulsive, generate replications, self-meaning, I am, self-transformation, being the angel, and mortality. The harmonic resonance, unity with light, conversation with the immortals. Please consider the symbolic analogy of the observation that while in fasting state, lack of dense physical matter food, use of environmental light and internal light from eternal internal sun, as the multicellular structure undergoes epigenesis, formation of new structure from an undeveloped state through the influence of the highly developed end stage from morphogenesis, formation and generation of tissues and organs. There was formed a migrating slug and ultimately a fruiting body, cells in the anterior or posterior regions of these structures. Under the continued influence of camp messenger angelic equivalent melanin and analog energy reception differentiate and into stalk column semiconductor superconductor electron flow circuit solenoidal cylinder shaped magnetic field motility or spore cells self replication self transformation salvation freedom of the angel energy donation toroidal donut shaped magnetic field. Okay. Okay. It's yeah, y'all got to get this book. This book is a must have.
Where did you get it from?
I think I got it. I got this one from off of Amazon. Either I got it off from Amazon or I might have got it from the bookstore. You know, the one that Turner works at. I'm not for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
I
Let's see
usually
if it's
get,
on Amazon.
your local conscious bookstore, you know. And then I also have this one. I think I talked about this in the past. It's a comedic diet. Um, can you see that? Okay.
Yeah, I see it perfect.
Okay. And
Hey, Monique.
hey, Monique, welcome. You see,
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Amazon and see if I can find it after this
yeah,
is over.
definitely. We know that food is always been nothing but it's our food, our medicine was not separate from our food. Our food was our medicine. Our food was we didn't need medicine because it was our food that kept us did all the things that it needed to do for the body. It wasn't about how much food you need to eat or in a day. It was you know nurturement and nutrition. It's about nourishment. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. It's about the nourishment. It wasn't necessarily about what we deal with today.
So you're saying the food that we ate then had all the nutrients that we needed.
Yeah, and our bodies really didn't before. We were starting. When we were there at that point. At this point right here, eating what we were eating. Uh, Before that point, I don't think it was. This was necessary. We may have had everything within the body already, which we do today. That is evident today that we still have a lot of things in our body already, but because we're dealing with this fake doctors and fake medical things that we deal with that only compounds our oppression. They stick us with so much stuff in our system that overloads our system, because our system naturally has the ability, as melanated people, your melanin people especially, we never needed these things. We never needed to be treated like we've been treated, you know. It just brought us down more to a lower level, put us in a lower state. Um, the food that they feed us, that they provide. But of course, through the power of our minds, we, you know, things are changing as far as what we can find in the grocery stores and stuff like that. Where before, um, we couldn't, everything was animal based or animal, you know, like the butter was animal. Now the butter, you can find plant-based butter. You can find a vegetarian pizza. You can find different things like this, you know, that is more beneficial for the state that we're currently in. Because before, that wasn't necessary. What the ancestors had, they didn't need. Back then, they didn't need the things that we need now. And I'm talking about not the ancestors that went through the slave trade and we came over here and was forced to eat meats, but the ones way back before, maybe, you know, before we started having no choice but to accommodate for the low, being at this low state, because we lost our high state and we got down to this low state that where we had to have those nutrients for our body. Where before, we may not have had to have these things. We didn't have this diet, you know. So this is a really good book also, because it's talking about meditation and our but the difference for us when it comes to meditation, I did a video before and I said the difference is that you don't necessarily want the mind to be empty. You want to be able to receive information. So you want it to be clear, but you're not trying to. When you do go close your eyes, you're in that dark space. You want that connection. Basically, is what I'm saying. You want a connection. You don't want distractions. Like, you don't want things that are going on outside of you. You want to be able to be open, you know, to receive. Okay, it says, let me see something. It's nice to have candles around when you're doing a meditation, and incense.
Yeah, Wes has a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I left a question for you in your comments section. You see it?
Wes, you said Wes?
Yeah. In
No,
the
I
chat
don't
room.
see it.
Wes in the chat.
I see him, but I don't see the question. Okay, now I see the question. Okay. Could our diets be reminiscent of the love or abuse seen in an abusive relationship? Yes, I think so. Definitely. Definitely. But I think I wouldn't say
So is he saying that we love that the food that we love is really hurting our bodies?
Yeah, yes, yes. But I was reading something that was saying something about um, see, this even tells you how to take care of hemorrhoids. This is a really good book. And it tells you what list of things to have. Okay. So it's like a natural, it's not just about, let me see what this says. I would say that's more like they taken us from our natural way of doing things that was connected to the way we had to be on this planet. So when they started forcing us into starvation and forcing us to have no choice but to eat what they had, that's a huge crime against humanity. But, I guess you can say the relationship between the food would be the abusive relationship. But what they did was totally a crime against humanity. Because now we're all spiraled out of our minds. Uh, we're not in our correct, we're not in our proper place. We're just totally out of our proper place. And, um, but I just know for a fact that once we recognize within ourselves that we have certain abilities, and like I said, we're more than just conquerors of things. Um, we are actually, we have abilities that we haven't even tapped into, that I think that it's important and critical that we try to tap into those abilities. Um, most people think that, I mean, if you go into church and you believing in Christianity, um, I don't think you have a place to speak on or call anybody, else a pagan, because you're doing the very same thing. It's no different. It's, in a way, the only thing is you're outside of yourself when the other people are probably dealing with things within themselves, which is more important to deal with what's inside of you on an individual basis, so that when you come to the whole, you're set to deal with the whole, um, and everyone's on one accord, where, because everyone, you just, it's just a natural part of the life to know this knowledge and learn the principles of Ahmad, and everybody will automatically come in balance. When you do come together, you're not like dealing with any uh, lower things that we're dealing with now. The things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. It says recognition forces. responsibility, ability to respond. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. You have anything you want to say? Hmm?
Yeah,
The
no, I
other,
just want to say, I'll say again, I want to thank everybody for coming. Um, I want to thank you again, Light Bear, for teaching here tonight. I really appreciate it.
mhm.
Like I said, I didn't know much about it, but I know a whole lot more now than I did an hour and a half ago.
Mhm. Yeah, we just have to tap within ourselves because all the information is there within us. We all have the ability. I just want our people to know that we have it in us. We just need to, you know, listen when we're being led. You know that, of course, our higher self is always. Our higher self is. Our higher self is always leading us and guiding us to a place um, where we get our information and um, to remember ourselves, put ourselves back together, and become that whole again. Um, it's important, you know, um, to know that we are the super, super people. We're super. Um, heroes, the heroes. You know, we are that of our own selves. We're the heroes of ourselves. So it's just critical that we uh, continuous like a plant, like a plant. Let me see. I know y'all probably already seen this video about the plants so many times, but it's important. It's very important that we. Okay.
Power off of
I'm
to
trying to
attract
get it.
abundance, prosperity, and wealth.
Trying to get a. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to figure out. Hmm. No, it's what happens to. Okay, let me go back to this other thing. Okay.
Some plants can hear us talking, in the sense that they respond to sound waves with frequencies in our vocal range. When played recordings of talking or classical from
Okay, we're gonna look at this. Okay, I'm gonna do it that one. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can y'all
We're
see
going to do
that?
a good apple, bad apple experiment.
Yeah.
Show me what your body can do.
Hi, this is Jovanka from JovankaCRS.com, and I am doing an experiment on the power of words. This was inspired by author Daniela Porte, who wrote a blog post about it that became very, very popular. And this is all inspired by the research from this doctor called Masaru Emoto, who was a Japanese scientist who believes that water is affected by our thoughts and our consciousness. And if we are 70% water, we can affect the way we see the world, our abilities to feel happy and be healthy and strong just by our thoughts and by our words. So the concept is that if you take a molecule of water and you say something beautiful to that molecule of water and then look at it in a microscope, that molecule will look really beautiful and bright. But if you say something really nasty to it and then look at it in a microscope, it'll look kind of nasty and dirty, and it looks like it's not even fully formed and it's not nice. And this theory has been in documentaries and in all kinds of programs on TV. It's actually in a documentary called What the Bleep Do We Know? And I think there's another documentary specifically about water. I know that there's been a lot of skeptics out there and people that think of it as a pseudoscience. And don't get me wrong, I hear you all, but I also feel like there is some validity to it. So Daniela Porte did this experiment with her child where she took an apple and cut it in half. And for about 20-25 days, she said something beautiful to half the apple and something really nasty to the other half of the exact same apple. So I am, as I said, a skeptic, but I'm also a big believer. And I decided that I was going to do this experiment for myself. So this is day one. This is the apple right here. And it's just a traditional apple. It's not organic. There's nothing, interesting or unique about this apple. So here is our beautiful whole apple. And we're just taking this apple and cutting it in half. 2 halves, so it's the same apple. And here are our jars. One says good apple, and the other one says bad apple. So we're just gonna put our apples right on each jar. I cut the edges, just so you know, so that they could fit in the mason jar, but they are the exact apple in the exact same jar. And we're gonna put them, I've decided that we're gonna put them in the exact same windowsill so that the environment remains constant. And the only thing that's going to be different is that we're going to say good, beautiful, positive things to the good apple and bad, nasty things to the bad apple. Beautiful apple, you are so wonderful. You are talented and so awesome and full of energy and beautiful and smart and capable. I can't wait to be your friend. You're awesome. I love you. you suck. I mean, you're not even that smart. I don't even know why you even try. It's really, you should just give up and stop trying. You're no good, and you don't even smell that good. So stop it. Okay, so we already talked to our apples. We're just gonna close this jar to prevent oxygen from getting in and rotting it more than it will. And we also close our bad apple. And we're just going to put this in the windowsill. These are the apples right here. There's the good apple and the bad apple. Every day we're going to be saying bad things to the bad apple and good things to the good apple. We're going to monitor this for 21 days and see what happens. So I just took out my apples from the bad apple jar and the good apple jar. And as you can see, this is amazing. Even for the most skeptical ones out there, you have to admit that this is, and I have to admit, I was one of those that was a little skeptical, and I am in awe at what I'm seeing right now. So our little experiment is over, and boy, were the results amazing. This is the apple that we said nasty things to for 21 days. And this is the apple that we said beautiful things to for 21 days. These are two halves of the exact same apple, and they were kept in very similar environments. This is the jars. They were sealed jars, and they were kept in the windowsill. So the environment was exactly the same. The only thing that was different was that we said nasty things to this apple very close every day, and we said beautiful, enlightened, and empowering things to this apple on a daily basis for 21 days. So even for the skeptic out there, and I was one that was actually less skeptical at the beginning of the experiment, I have to admit that there is something to it. I am as surprised as you are. And I now believe that more than ever, that there is power in words, and that our words can destroy us and others, and or they can enlighten us and empower us and make us feel that we can conquer the world and that we can be a force for good. So I hope this inspires you to start saying beautiful things to yourself or to the people that you love. And if you hear anybody bullying or saying something nasty or mean to others, that you stand up for those that don't know about this experiment. So now it's your turn. What do you think about this particular video? I want to start a conversation. Let me know by leaving a comment below. Make sure that you share this with people, especially those who you notice that are constantly talking smack to themselves and to others. Make sure that others are empowered as well. And subscribe for more tips and a jolt of motivation for your sexy, healthy, and beautiful life. See you soon. Learn the 3-step system.
All right, I'm back, family. Stop sharing this. But that was a very, very, very powerful video. It showed alchemy. It showed alchemy at work. It showed spells. It showed how spells work. It shows affirmation and how important affirmation is to us. We have to say those good things to ourselves. We have to know, see, what we put into ourselves is powerful. And also, not only that, but what we say is powerful as well. What we request is powerful, you know. What we try to manifest, because our request is a manifestation of our needs. And this is what makes affirmation very important, is that we see, just like in a plant or fruit, it's the same thing that goes on in our bodies. You know, we have a lot of water in us. So the same thing happens with water. Oh, he said Wes said she was terrible at negativity. Yeah, she was. That's why the apple could have been bruised a little bit more than what it was bruised. It looked like it had a couple of black eyes.
Yeah, it did.
So, I mean, she abused it some, but it could have been more badgered, I think. Yeah, I agree. She was terrible at negativity. But she tried. She certainly tried.
I mean, but that's a good thing too, because she's not really into being negative.
Oh no, her videos, she's she was saying her YouTube videos, it's about she was a very uplifting person, a very uplifting. Um, um, so when it's evident because we are closest to the plant family. We're not animals by no means, uh, but we're more closer to the plant family. And unfortunately for me, my plants die on me all the time. I don't say negative things to them. I love them, but they leave me. I bring them in the house. I'm starting to think maybe it's the air quality. And the air quality in my house could play a big part of that. Um, but, I buy these plants and I try to nurture them and I give them everything and they just dwindle away from me. So they're beautiful, but then once they get home, they're gone. So I'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, you'll get it.
It could be the water. I was listening to a sister's YouTube channel. I forgot what she's called. She's plant based. She's all plant based and natural. And she was talking about plants. And she says sometimes they need acidic water and sometimes they may want uh, the water from the sink, and sometimes they may need distilled water. You just have to figure out what type of water the plant wants to thrive on. But I think I have this one plant and it's been doing real well. I've been giving it sink water and it stays green. And believe it or not, that thing came in the mail through Amazon. And it's been beautiful and luscious and green ever since. It just never died on me. I never had problems with that plant. But all other plants I get are just hard to take care of. But that one plant that came in the mail, I haven't had no problems with it.
Is it getting the proper sunlight?
Yeah, that one's fine, but it's like some certain plants, like I had a tropical plant, and those needed to stay in the house because it needed heat, and you can't water them all the time. It's trees, it's like tropical trees, and you can't
Right.
water them all the time. When you notice the soil down deep has to be dried out before you can re-water them. So it's like maybe it's every 6 months or so.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it went on ahead and died on me. It's gone now, and both of them are gone. They're just sticks. So the greenery is gone. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm good at gardening as far as that's concerned. I'm pretty good with that outside, but I don't know. I'll just figure it out. I just need a controlled environment, and that's what I'm working on getting for my plants and my fruits and vegetables, a controlled environment, so I don't have to. It's like always the outside stuff is causing issues. You know what I'm saying? It's things that are outside that are causing the issues. So you kind of gotta figure it out what's affecting it and keeping it from thriving. Because I told my plants good things, and I wish so much But I think it was other issues going on with them besides just the. Yeah. Oh, there he goes. He's back. You having more difficulties today?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah. So I just wanted our people to know that we are more. They wouldn't let me put the lesser than or the greater than sign. YouTube, they stopped me before I could create this. And they said, you can't have those signs. And, I like those signs. The
Yeah,
greater
yeah,
than, instead of me
yep.
spelling the word out then, I was going to use the greater than sign. And they don't like us using those signs. So I don't know why. I couldn't even, it just doesn't. I tried to figure it out. There's no figuring it out.
I think symbols and signs, yeah, they don't want to, YouTube doesn't want us using those.
It's like code talk, and they want to know what you're talking about.
Exactly, yeah.
So I just wanted our people to know the important thing about ourselves is that we are more than conquerors. We are great, powerful beings that need to rise above all this mess. We need to really, truly rise above and take our place.
Wes in the chat wants to know if have you looked into Professor Bose?
Professor Bose. Oh no, I never knew him.
Yeah,
No,
I've heard of him, but I didn't know that that he was a professor. I mean, I heard the Bose speakers.
Mhm. So they stole the speakers from him. And okay, is this him? Let me share this.
They steal everything.
Yeah, they do. Let me share the screen, and I'm gonna ask him if this is him. Is this him? Is this him? I think they had a picture of him.
No, that's not him. That's not him.
That's not him. Mhm.
Now his name is spelled JAGADISH.
And it's Bose, Bose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's him. You know what? I might remember him. He looks familiar. Okay. Okay. And all the way to 1937, huh? Yep, they always stealing something. Okay. Does he do videos or something? Did he have? Well, no. Listen to me. He was super dark Indian. Oh, okay, yeah. So that was him, huh? Jagadish Bose. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna hold y'all too long tonight, even though I think I got everything out that I wanted to talk about. But the most important thing is that we know that we are more than conquerors. Um, uh, you know, we
And
are
again,
movers, we are shakers, and we are um, manifest. We can manifest a lot of things into our space. So it's critical for us uh, to not fall into to utilize our emotions the right correct way to our benefit. Always use our, I call it energy motion in the proper way to benefit that we can get benefits out of it instead of using it the way we've been trained on this lower level. See, if we were trained on the higher level, then we would know how to use our energy and make it beneficial for us. Because if we are golden sign, we're connected to the sun, copper, all that stuff. It's a lot of things we need to tap into within ourselves to start up the engine of our power within us. So that's all I wanted to get across to our people is that we are powerful.
I
But
believe you do that every
a
time you do
totally
a live
different way.
stream.
Huh?
I believe every time you do a live stream, you do that.
Thank you. Well, I really want to. I think it's very important because for us to move forward, to know that it's not necessarily going to happen the way we think things should. We're not going to. Our powers are not going to be like. Our powers is a higher power, so it's not like you have a gun and you are dealing with things in that sense of power, but it's a higher power, that we need to tap into. So that's all I wanted to say tonight. And if there's anything else, any more questions, let me see. He said ancient Indian sound technology used in their temples were his childhood playground. The chanting, sadas, and the I would love to hear. Do you have any place where I can go and hear his stuff? Wes, is there a place?
Any YouTube videos or
Yeah, any
anything like
old.
that? He's saying that he was before the internet, but I was wondering if he had like any of his old teachings. If somebody put it on the internet on YouTube.
But is there anybody who used his equipment?
Well, we
You
use it
said,
every day.
huh?
The Bose speakers. Have
Yeah,
you?
but I'm talking about the chanting and the sadas and the lingam.
Oh,
I want
right.
to. I want to hear that. Yeah, he was way before the internet. But they still would have kept some records of, or maybe somehow, got some
Some kind
sound,
of old film or something.
some sounds. of his
Sounds.
chanting
Yeah.
the Sadas and the Lingam, of all that.
Maybe I'll look him up on YouTube and see if there's anything there.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Wes, for sharing that. That's what I like. I like when my when the one people that come to my channel and you share information that you know that helps out, because I can I always like the chanting and I like the sounds that our brothers and sisters be doing all over the planet, um, or better said, all over Africa. Because we know that the planet is Africa. Oh, he was the Tesla of India. Mhm. Yeah, we'll try to look at this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is on YouTube.
He is.
He is. Yeah, I'm
Do you
looking at
want
it
to
right now. You want me to share the screen?
Yeah, you can share the screen if they got some sounds or something.
Okay, let me find something with some sound.
Mhm.
Then I'll share the screen. It has his teachings.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can find one here. I don't see anything here with his chantings. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to share the screen, and I'll let you pick one.
Okay.
Okay, you see it?
Not yet. Okay, I see it now.
Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'll just scroll down. You just pick one, and I'll play it.
Okay. This one right here. The Curry Jagdish Chandra Bose. Well, that's a film, right? Yeah, that's a film about him. Huh. Oh, he says plants have feelings.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. Take a look at the help section in your Alexa app.
Okay, he was a requirement as a child. Okay. Okay. Well, that's okay. That's fine. I'm going to wrap up and thank everybody that showed up today. Thank you. Thank you so much, DOD, for being up here with me. The Life of King Wage, thank you for showing up. And Monica Mo Justice, thank you, sister, for coming. And Zero, thank you for showing up also. Monica, Monique Hill, thank you, Sister Monique. Wes Bury, thank you also for the great information that you brought forward today. Very beneficial. I'm gonna read up about him and see what I can find. Very interesting. Let me see. So I'm bringing this to another halt. And I hope that you all will have beautiful dreams, of course, that you can manifest into this life tonight as we, all go off to our dreamland. And with that said, true love, real peace, the higher self within, the soul. Until next time, family. Good night.